here are your hosts of Financially Tuned, Mark Fricks and Tony Shore.
Well, hello and welcome to our edition of Financially Tuned with me, Mark Fricks from MasterPlan Retirement Consultants, and with our host today, Tony Shore. Today we're going to go over the important steps to take when preparing for your retirement. Now, it's really good also to know that if you are already retired, it's not too late to incorporate some of these steps that we'll be discussing today to help strengthen and make your retirement even better. Future retirees, if you're getting ready to retire, you need to really take into consideration the big picture of your retirement planning, and also current retirees. You've got to get a big picture done first. So that's what we're going to be discussing today, because once you have the big or the full picture, it will really help you make the more detailed and necessary decisions to achieve the retirement that you've worked so hard to accomplish.
Well, thanks for that great intro, Mark. I'm really looking forward to our discussion today. I think most everyone can benefit from a retirement planning overview. But before we get started, I'd like to see how you've been doing, Mark. How have you been this past week?
Been doing really well, Tony. Thanks for asking. We had a great Thanksgiving a while back and getting ready for the Christmas season here in the Atlanta, Georgia area, so everything is both hunky and dory, as we like to say.
Well, that's great, Mark. I've been good, too. I had a great week, been working hard, so that's always good. Mark, what would you say is one of the first steps that you would encourage our listeners to start off with when planning their retirement?
Well, Tony, for some folks, I think this first step might be obvious. For others, maybe not so much, but I really believe that you need to find some help. You need to find a financial professional to get you started. This is not an area that you need to do self-surgery on. This is akin to brain surgery. This is not something you want to look up on the internet and get some help, because the decisions you're going to be making for retirement or in retirement many times are irreversible, or you won't find the mistake until it's too late. So first of all, I encourage you to find a financial professional. And you should really look for someone, Tony, that really puts your needs and your interest first. And you really want to actively find someone that is, it's all about you in this case and not about the financial professional. So find that person that really will focus on you and your needs. And you need to find someone, Tony, that really takes the whole picture into consideration, not just someone that dabbles in investments or that can help you with a life insurance. You need someone that knows and is an expert in the big picture so they can help you through the big picture of retirement. You know, oftentimes we find folks that are really putting the cart before the horse when it comes to financial professionals. And what I mean by that is they're really so focused on selling you something that they don't put a plan in place first. So look for somebody that knows about planning a retirement roadmap, creating a solid plan, and looks at the big picture.
Well, that sounds great, Mark. Now, what are some tips that our listeners can take into consideration when they're choosing a financial professional?
Well, it's hard to really say who you should choose, but I do have some tips I can give you. And I think the first one is start asking your friends and family and colleagues for referrals. Find out who they use, who they're happy with, who they've had experience with, and get their recommendations. But, do talk to family and friends that have a similar situation to yours. If you've got a good friend or family member that's worth $10 million and you're worth, $500,000 or whatever, and they're going to be probably working with somebody that has different experience and guidance than you would need. So that would be the first step is to start finding friends and colleagues you can talk to that are in similar situations. Find out who they're using. And then you kind of begin a process of elimination, kind of narrow the field down to a few potential candidates that seem to work in the area that you're in. In other words, that work with similar type clients, that work with, again, putting together that roadmap. Don't be afraid to look at options. You want to make sure that you ask the same questions. In other words, if you've got your list down to 3, 4, or 5 financial professionals, maybe have a set of questions that you ask each one of them. Maybe start by the phone and talk to them. And ask these questions and maybe have 5 or 6 set questions and begin narrowing that down. And of course, you want to make sure that as you're looking for this professional, that they are really centered on the types of needs you have. But once you get down to maybe 2 or 3, I think then you start meeting personally with them, meet one-on-one across the table from them, and begin asking those same questions and get a feel for how they work. But more importantly, Tony, get a feel for how they communicate with you. You know, a lot of us have an intuition, and we kind of know what fits, and we kind of know who we can work with because, in our case, and I think in a lot of cases for financial professionals and folks that work with them, they're looking for a long-term relationship, somebody that can take them through the majority of their retirement. So it's got to be somebody you enjoy working with. And then finally, once you get down to maybe some final decisions, and I think this is probably the most important thing to do, Tony, I would recommend asking for references. Find out who they've worked with and maybe have an opportunity to talk to those folks. And I mean other clients of the professional as well as other professionals of the professional. In other words, who do they work with as a CPA or as an attorney? So they're other people they work with and get a feel for how they operate. And talk to people that have actually worked with them for a while. So I think that's probably some of the main tips that would help folks get started.
Well, Mark, that's some great information that you've given to us today, but I think I can go a step further and really help narrow it down for our listeners. In fact, listeners out there, I have the name of the person you need to talk to, and you're not going to need to look any further. And that person's name is Mark Fricks. And I'm sure you've heard it here on the show.
Well, thanks, Tony. I appreciate that, and I agree with that. But sometimes folks want to go a little bit further. And I'll mention one other thing here, Tony, is a great place to start. I think with us is our website. Our website has, first of all, right on the main page is a video that I have recorded that's just a few minutes long, but it does a great job of me explaining what we do and how we operate and the type of people we work with. And so I would suggest going to our website, which is MasterPlanYourRetirement.com, and starting there and get a feel for that. But I appreciate you saying that, Tony.
All right. Well, after we've found a financial professional, Mark, what do you suggest we do next?
Well, once you have that professional in line and you're comfortable with that relationship moving forward, I would advise you begin organizing your documents and your information. This is really critical. If you get started and your financial assets and statements and wills and trust and tax documents and all, if they're not complete or not together, then something's going to be missed. So begin putting together documents that relate to your financial situation, and that is really critical. And we can help. Once a client comes in and we begin working with them, they bring in copies. We help organize them. We create financial statements for the client. We can actually scan all their documents not only into a folder for us to access, but one they could even access as well, kind of a vault for our clients. And so getting organized, I know it sounds like common sense, but it's probably the most important first step, and many of our clients don't even realize what important documents they should even be keeping track of or keeping a copy of. So we can even provide a list of what they need to provide or keep. And sometimes and really many times it's only when a certain season rolls around that we actually even start paying attention to our financial documents. Maybe when tax season rolls around, we start running around trying to grab, receipts and documents, or maybe there's a death in the family or a move happens and we start thinking about that. But really, if we're proactive, if we go ahead and get those items together and we keep up with them and then organize them in a precise fashion, which we can certainly help with, then I think that's key to getting started.
Well, that's great, and that's some great advice, Mark. Well, unfortunately, our time is up for this segment. Is there anything else that you'd like to add before we take a quick break today, Mark?
Well, just again, I'll give the folks our website, a great way to get to know us and to contact us. That's found at MasterPlanYourRetirement.com, or give us a call and just set up a time for us to chat. We can do a phone chat or meet one-on-one just to get to know each other a little bit better and find out if we can help meet the needs of the folks that are listening. Our phone number is 770-980-9262.
All right. Well, thanks for that, Mark. We're going to be right back with more on the big retirement picture, the retirement big picture from Mark Fricks right here on Financially Tuned after this.
To hear the rest of the show or for more information, go to MasterPlanYourRetirement.com or call Mark at 770-980-9262 to schedule an appointment.